Good evening and welcome to Monday, November 17th, 2014, Jurupa Unified School District Board of Education closed session. We'll open with a roll call, please.
President Schmidt?
Here.
Trustee Mendez? Here. Trustee Charlie, absent. Trustee Johnson? Here. Trustee Schaefer?
Thank you. And I have one public verbal comment. Mr. Byer. Let me set it for 7.
No wheelchair. Memo was nice enough to greet me in my wheelchair, and I didn't recognize him last time I was here. And I came here at 4 o'clock, not knowing what time the meeting started. I've given everybody what I call a tort, which is a demand. The reason I gave it to you, and I did it myself, was I talked to 6 lawyers. The last one was in New York, of all things, that is representing a professor at Caltech over whistleblowing and retaliation. The attorney in New York gave me attorney in LA to go to. The 6 attorneys, I visited 4 of them, and I haven't visited the one in LA yet, didn't want to do the tort unless I signed the documents that they take the case against Mr. Duchamp and Jurupa Unified School District. I disqualified one of them for saying, deep pockets, I'll take it right now. I don't want that. In this claim, it speaks of what happened, and according to the attorney that helped me a little bit, he says it says too much. But I want everybody to know about my wife. My wife is one exceptional employee. So says he. So says everybody else. She worked the first 6 years in this school district at no charge because Miss Roberts needed help and didn't have the funds and didn't go for a bond. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. She still works the football games, and I'm a Friday night bachelor at football season. Thank God it's over. She still hustles and gets French fries and hot dogs and hamburgers for the teachers, for the games. In addition to that, she's so good at her job that Patriot was sending some of their special ed aides to her to learn how she does what she does. In addition to that, my wife has, I don't know if you know, got stabbed with a needle by a patient, by a diabetic, because she didn't show up to get her medications. And when that happens, my wife will go out and chase them down. She won't let them get away. If they don't get their medication, she's going to find them. And she does. She stays after school many times and does a lot. That's why I took everything with her personally. One of the 4 lawyers I spoke to made a comment to me. He said, you and that other guy, Duchamp, are like 2 6-year-old kids in a fist fight. Why don't you both grow up? Hopefully this will be my last meeting, because I want it to be. The demand makes sense. Although the lawyer, I had trouble getting a bankruptcy lawyer to take the bankruptcy to reopen it. You're going to find 5 pages in the back that explains why every lien was discharged. It's because we didn't have enough value in our house to compensate everybody that we owed money to, including a $50,000 second mortgage, which was discharged, and they discharged $19,000 off a Wells Fargo mortgage, the first. Plus, I owed Wells Fargo, as he has a copy of, $17,000 in back payments. We're making those back payments and the mortgage payments. As soon as I'm done with the back payment, then Wells Fargo will release me. That's why no bankruptcy attorney wanted it, because they've never heard of getting a case opened after 5 years. Nancy was able to do so. She did it only on an hourly basis, and she submitted her bill. She mailed a copy to you. I don't know if you got it yet. Elliot cut it off. There's a copy in there, and she itemized everything. If you put the numbers together and take a good look at me not suing him, because him and I are wacko with one another, and I'll admit it. And that's going to go nowhere. But my wife has never been involved. And here is a lawsuit by a Caltech professor that is suing Caltech for $8 million for retaliating against her for speaking publicly about something Caltech was doing. I'll give you the copy when I leave. 8, and I'm going to talk to their lawyer, and they're in New York. And I said, you can't come to Los Angeles. And they said, no, we have a Los Angeles, Century City representative that you can visit. If you put your lawyers on this case, you know what you pay them. All of the other lawyers that have talked to me, every one of them is working on a contingency basis once I sign that document and my wife signs it. But I have no intent of personally suing. I do want Pamela to sue. What he did is an extremely serious violation of California law. And citing the fact that he's already been disciplined on a cease and desist to retaliation, and here's one, retaliation against his employees, and the 35 documents I got off the internet criticizing him will make us a good case. But what I'm saying is she's not going to sue for damages. We have no intent of doing that. My statement to the board is this is the last you'll see me if you approve this. What this is you pay my attorney. We don't want damages. We don't want anything else. I don't want a dime from you. Not a dime. Pam doesn't want anything for getting stabbed or overtime or anything else. She wants to continue on her way. She also confiscated a young man that had a can, a Coke can. And she saw that can and said something was wrong because they were shaking it around. So she went over and she took it. And the top came off and it was full of marijuana. I don't know if you heard about this one. But he jumped across the desk to get it. Thank God Mr. Hampton walked in the room at that time. I think he was suspended and sent to another class or something, if I recall. I learned about the hazing at, of all places, Rubidoux. That shocked me. My wife didn't even know. I said, but you work there. She said, but I don't pay attention. That was pretty serious, Mr. Duchamp. I hope the board knows about it because this one is real serious. And I don't know whether it's going to stop, from what I heard, going further than just to you stopping it the way you did. But when there's penetration, there's a problem. So my statement to the board, I'd appreciate if you'd read through this, consider the cost of your attorneys, and you and I both know that Pam will win her end pretty easily because of the California laws about retaliation and the fact he's been cited by the PERB and everything else. And settle it with my lawyer and get it out of my way. And I'm out of your hair and you're out of my hair. Nobody's in my hair. As I said to you earlier, I do like you a lot. You've always been very professional and very nice. I think I put that in writing to Mr. Duchamp several times. I wrote a very nasty email to him referencing Tamara Elzick, which I apologized to him twice in writing and once verbally. I respect another lady sitting right there who helped me save a young Marine's life because he had a 357 and he was going to kill himself. So I needed to think of the best mother that I knew. And I called Miss Collins. And she spoke to him on the phone. I don't know how long. And I needed a very good, another speaker. And I called Mr. Schaefer. And he came over. And he got in a conversation with Nick about the hummingbirds. And his mother was watching him as a hummingbird. His mother died a week after he got out of the Marine Corps. And Brian was able to talk him into getting into Mr. Schaefer's car so we could drive him to the VA hospital, where they immediately admitted him in front of 100 line and took him into psych. They kept him there for 1 year. He is now married. He goes there once a month, and he's going to do just fine. And I think you asked me about that. And I'm very proud of that, and I'm proud of her, and I'm proud of him for what they did for that young man. And I wish everybody the best of luck, and take a good look at your legal costs and what these attorneys are going to do. And I don't like attorneys, not at all. Nancy's been very nice. I can't pronounce her last name. She took this case and she said no guarantees, because they don't open cases after they've been closed 5 years. And then she looked at it and she said, but this has been discharged. I said, but they don't believe me. And this is the reason they don't. I showed her the letter from Thompson and Colgate, and she broke out laughing. I didn't put that letter in this package. I'll mail you all a copy, but you'll break out laughing too. It was from a lawyer from we don't know where. It was on Thompson and Colgate letterhead, but he couldn't spell bankruptcy. So he had to correct his spelling on the letters. I'm done. I thank you. Consider that by law, you have 30 days to make a decision by law, or we go to court. I've asked you make the decision and not contact me. Contact my attorney, my bankruptcy attorney, because that's what it's all about. I've set up a payment schedule with her. She's been very kind to do that. And I thank you. And you've been a good mother, taking care of 5 of them. Thank you.
Thank you. And are there any other public comments? Seeing none, we'll adjourn to closed session.